KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
We now know the name of the woman who was hit and killed by a school bus near Meade High School. A person in that area shares just how dangerous that road, they say, can be.
And I'm looking up right now and seeing a little bit of blue skies, a little bit at least. That is going to change later today. I'll explain when snow hits.
And Spokane, they've been working to nurse back to health many sick dogs. We're going to check in and see how they're doing and what the next steps are for the shelter. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. Let's get right to weather and talk to Nicole Hernandez. She is standing outside in the Outdoor Weather Center. Nicole, at this time yesterday, we were talking all about snow.
Oh yeah, no, it was actually coming down at that point. We don't see that today, but we do see snow today, just not quite yet. Like I mentioned, a little bit of blue skies up overhead. Pretty much everywhere we see those partly cloudy skies, with places like Coeur d'Alene seeing a little bit more clouds than sun, but people here in Spokane seeing a little bit more sun than clouds. Either way, we're cold. We are still 34 degrees and a little bit breezy, which is making it feel even colder out here. Today, we're pretty clear for the morning into the early afternoon. This is our radar right now, and you can see basically nothing happening. We had the last of yesterday's snow move its way out of North Idaho early this morning, and now we're clear. We have a little bit of a break, but more snow is on its way. That's why we're under a weather impact alert. I'll explain exactly when and where the snow hits, but on a grander scale for now, we're under a weather impact alert because our mountains are going to be particularly snowy with this next round. Our mountains are getting hit the hardest again with that heavy mountain snow, and then we're also seeing gusty conditions as well. The winds have been pretty sustained and stable this morning. Our Brandon T. Jones was out live all morning, and he was complaining of how cold it was because of how windy it was as well. Right now, our winds are about sustained 13 miles per hour. We're seeing wind gusts anywhere between 17, 18 miles per hour at the moment, and they'll stick that way through the afternoon. There is a chance here in Spokane that we get gusts up to 35 miles per hour, but that would be one-off, and there's just a chance. In our mountains, those gusts could go up to 40 miles per hour.
All right, my friend, thank you. Our sister station in Minneapolis right now reporting that a woman died during an ICE-related shooting. The Department of Homeland Security confirming that an immigration, customs, and enforcement officer shot the woman who was in a vehicle, claiming that she was trying to ram agents. However, the mayor of Minneapolis called out the ICE agent at a press conference, blaming ICE officials for causing chaos and escalating the situation. And in a social media post, the Democratic Minnesota U.S. Senator Tina Smith said the victim was, quote, a U.S. citizen. This fatality comes amid the influx of 2,000 federal law enforcement members in the Twin Cities metro area. And today, one person is dead after a crash in Airway Heights. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is reporting about what happened along Highway 2.
Well, things certainly much more calm out here in Airway Heights as opposed to this morning. There was a large law enforcement presence, and they even had both directions of Sunset Highway right here behind me closed off for at least a few hours. That's because, of course, we have learned that there was a single car accident versus a pedestrian. Law enforcement told us earlier this morning that they did take the driver of that vehicle into custody, expected to be charged with vehicular homicide and suspicion of driving under the influence. Again, this was a single car accident versus a pedestrian. It happened in the eastbound lanes right here on Sunset Highway in front of an auto store. They do not know at this particular time if the next of kin has been notified. They told us they were going to be working on that to find that person's family and to let them know what exactly took place. Again, we do know, though, this situation was a single car accident versus a pedestrian. Traffic back to a normal pace here at this particular time. For now, reporting here in Airway Heights, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
We now know who the woman is that was hit and killed by a school bus near Meade High School. It was 20-year-old Eva Allen. Deputies say she was in the crosswalk at Hastings and Bellwood when the bus hit her on Monday night. People in that area tell us it is a dangerous place to cross because there are no crosswalk beacons.
We're not surprised just because it's such a dangerous area. We see all the kids that cross the street in this area and how busy it does get.
The Meade School District released a statement. They said, quote, "Our hearts are with the family, friends, and loved ones, and we extend our deepest condolences and stand with them during this profoundly difficult time." The district also said no students were on the bus at the time of the crash, and the driver is now on administrative leave. A private testing company reported possible evidence of chronic wasting disease to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. This test, the CWD test, was found to be positive in a mule deer that was harvested in Ferry County. Now, Fish and Wildlife says they did additional testing on the deer and found the case to be inconclusive. According to the Fish and Wildlife, the department and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they don't currently recognize commercial tests for this disease as an officially validated test. This is the first known use of the unapproved test in the state and possibly the first report of the deadly disease in that area. And we do have an update. Spokane had to euthanize one dog who contracted the infection that has shut down the shelter for weeks now. The shelter's executive director, Dory Peck, says it was a 10-year-old dog who had shown signs of improvement, but then its health took a turn for the worse really quickly. Because of that, the Spokane vet recommended that the dog needed to be euthanized.
We're fighting so hard to save them all. So when you lose one, it's devastating. That is the only one so far that has been euthanized or has passed away. Everyone else is alive. Some are sicker than others.
So they are really working around the clock there, again, trying to get them nursed back to health. This week, the shelter announced they will likely stay closed through the end of this month. Now, they say the cats are in a whole separate facility and are still up for adoption. Nearly 1 month after historic rain, a Snohomish County farm that supplies local food banks is still flooded. The food bank farm operates out of Chinook Farms in the city of Snohomish. All 132 acres flooded, destroying greenhouses and equipment. Food bank farm supplies more than 300,000 pounds of fresh produce to food banks all across Washington state each year. So now volunteers are helping with cleanup and repairs. So we hope they're.
The outpouring of support is just so gratifying, so we're just very, very thankful. Find out who your friends are.
Yeah, and the food bank farm is expected to make a full recovery, so some good news there. We do want to let you know that our KREM 2 News family is growing. We are welcoming a new team member coming on Monday. She's from the area and is excited to be back home. Join us on January 12th to welcome KREM 2's new evening anchor on KREM 2 News at 6 o'clock.